All right. Do you have any visual artist recommendations? Yes. So recently I've been very obsessed with Scott Barley. He did a film called Sleep Has Her House. Phenomenal film. It's definitely the kind of film that you get like super high, turn off all the lights in the house, turn up the soundtrack very loud because he's also an ambient artist, so he did the soundtrack himself. Well, you don't have to get high. I just love to get high, but just in a dark room, and it is so captivating. I've really been inspired by slow cinema a lot lately. I've always kind of loved slow cinema, but I think the problem is everybody who's utilized slow cinema utilized aspects of slow cinema in more accessible films that you would like see in theaters or whatnot. I think that they've missed the mark on slow cinema and think maybe it's just not for me, but the way that they execute it, it seems as I think with slow cinema, you have to, if you're going to be lingering on something, if you're going to be doing slow cinema and having shots that are like 5 minutes long, uninterrupted, what you capture needs to be intentional and specific. You have to have a strong vision to do slow cinema. And I think a lot of people who have utilized aspects of slow cinema do not have that vision. And I'm a fine one to talk. I've never made a film. It is most likely a lot more difficult than I would imagine it is. So that is rich coming from me, but primarily as an enjoyer of slow film, slow cinema, there are a lot of things I have seen. One thing that I love, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but let me Google real quick to make sure I pronounce his name right. The director of Sharp Objects, directed by Jean-Marc Vallée. I don't speak French, so I don't know. But the director of Sharp Objects, I think, gets it. And I think that's why I love Sharp Objects so much, because there are aspects of slow cinema in his work, but everything that he lingers on, it either tells a story or it translates a feeling, an emotion. It is immersive. There's a lot of shots of ceiling fans in Sharp Objects, and that for me just does it right off the bat, because it reminds me of the hot, sweltering feeling of lying on your back, staring up at a ceiling fan, doing nothing. So maybe that it speaks to me because I relate to it. So maybe the aspects of slow cinema and other artists or directors' works that I don't get because I just don't get it. But I really do believe overall, if you're going to do slow cinema or even utilize aspects of slow cinema, you have to know what the hell you're doing. You have to know what to linger on. And Scott Barley, to go back to my original point and backtrack from my rabbit hole, Scott Barley, every shot is just delicious. He has a new film coming out soon that I'm very excited to watch. The stills from it look beautiful, but Sleep Has Her House and all of his other short works, delicious. I highly recommend. Love him. I've had the pleasure of being able to chat with him recently. I would love to work with him in the future. I think it would be so phenomenal. But yeah, I highly recommend Scott Barley's work. Sleep Has Her House is an incredible body of work. So please give it a watch. I think it's like $10 to buy on his website for the file. And then I bought the Blu-ray, of course.